What would it mean to be able to talk to angels? How would that change your life? Join us now on Angel Talk Tuesday as the psychic angel channelers Julie Geigel and Susan Schuler allow angels to speak directly through them, sharing messages from beyond. As you bathe in the vibrational frequency of the angels here, you will begin to open up to a stronger and clearer communication of your own. The purpose of this show is to help you awaken, expand, and remember the magnificent being that you are and the mission you came here to fulfill.
Welcome everyone. Our theme for the month is family. Happy August. Today's the first day of August. Yay! Lots of exciting energy this month, so buckle up. Today's topic is Partners with Possibilities. Good morning. This is Julie Geigel, International Psychic Medium, Trance Channeler for Archangel Metatron, and Awakened Healer. I offer psychic medium readings and spiritual counseling over the phone and in person in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I also teach online spiritual classes. And you can find me over at juliegeigel.com and on Facebook at Psychic Medium Julie. And I have an exciting program coming up here today. We have a sneak peek of our Manifesting Mastermind number 7, 28 Days to Abundance. And that will be, our sneak peek is today at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be sure to pop over to my website to register for that. It's going to be an awesome experience this afternoon, helping you to open up this incredible portal that is coming here to take our lives to the next level, decluttering, releasing anything that's holding you back from truly experiencing the life and the joy, the love that you came here to experience in this lifetime. All right, so that's juliegeigel.com today at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, sneak peek of our Manifesting Mastermind number 7. All right, and we are taking callers. So if you'd like to call in and chat with us, we'd love to hear from you at 1-202-570-7057. We'd love to assist you with any issues you have on your love life or relationships. And absolutely anything, but that is our focus for the month. So if you feel led to call in and ask us a question, please don't deny those whisperings in your ear. Your angels are leading you to us for some extra support, some extra help today. That's 1-202-570-7057. Alrighty, Metatron's ready. I can feel him telling me, shh, you're talking too much. Reminds me of my husband. Okay, I'm going to ring the tingsha bells to clear any lower vibrations and create a pure sacred space for trance channeling. And then I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths with me. All right, here we go. Welcome. I am Metatron, here in service to humanity, creating a beautiful sacred space as you open up and engage the energy that is moving through for you this day, this month, this year. Allowing this expansion to fill the deepest spaces of your soul. Activating, accelerating, attuning. Letting go of all fears, releasing all expectations and attachments to the outcome. Feel the freedom you experience when you are in full and complete alignment with your soul, your spirit, your highest self. We have come here today to discuss your topic, partners with possibilities. And we invite you now to move into your heart, to open up, to give and receive the love that you are. Oftentimes, you take action from a place of fear, indecision, or thoughts from others. Your own truth gets muddied. Hidden, lost. Oftentimes we see you give your power away, wanting to please other people, wanting to please those around you with their own hidden agendas. In this new earth energy, it will be more and more difficult to remain in that frequency of pleasing other people, of taking action out of fear. As you open your heart to receive all that you are, it will become easy and effortless to make decisions, to surround yourself with people who are supporting you on this life journey. It will be easy and effortless to let go of people, of things, of experiences that are holding you back and dragging you down. The fog is being lifted on infinite levels and layers of your being. You need only ask for this awakening, this expansion of your soul, and you will instantly, automatically receive. This is not held for a limited few. This is open and available to all. And so if you need to ask yourself, should I stay or should I go within this relationship? Your lesson in learning has not been completed. For when it is time for you to leave a relationship, a job, an experience, you will instantly know and automatically take action. Get true with yourself, and everything else in your life will fall into place. Get true with yourself, and you will no longer need to ask others for advice. You will no longer wonder which way to turn. You will always instantly be guided by your inner voice, your intuition, your spiritual counsel. Do not give up too soon within your relationships, but also do not stay too long. Take a moment now and stand in your power. See yourself as we see you, a glorious, magnificent being with endless possibilities, endless experiences, endless opportunities that await you now. Energy rising, rising, rising. Continuing to expand and open to receive all that you are and all that you came here to become. We are with you always, holding you in this beautiful space of love, light, and harmony. I am Metatron, and I have spoken here today. This is Julie Geigel, channeling Archangel Metatron, and you can find me over at juliegeigel.com. You are listening to Angel Talk Tuesday. In our next segment, we'll take callers. You can call in at 1202-570-7057. Stay tuned.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Change and growth are part of natural life and also part of your spiritual life. Everyone needs support and guidance, especially during life passages. Upgrade yourself with the OMTimes Experts Program. With OMTimes experts, you have access to the best intuitive coaches, spiritual teachers, counselors, astrologists, and oracles. Our team was carefully selected so you can trust. Find out more at experts.omtimes.com.
Do you need help with relationships, romance, or career? I'm a triple-tested, accurate, and ethical psychic medium and spiritual counselor. Simply click on my Call Me Now button at juliegeigel.com.
Mediumship readings offer much closure and healing. This is Susan Schuler. Let me connect you to your loved ones on the other side. Schedule an appointment at mediumsusan.com.
And we are the Psychic Angel Channelers from Angel Talk Tuesday, hosted every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern on OMTimesRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Fox, host and astrologer of The Astrology Show. Each week, I'll give you access to the current transits, which are a valuable tool that provide astrological information to help unlock the potential each of us has. Understanding the stars can help steer us in the right direction to make better informed choices. So if you're wondering what's going to happen in your week ahead, be sure to tune in to The Astrology Show for guidance, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is Julie Geigel with Angel Talk Tuesday, and we have the lovely Susan Schuler with us. Welcome, Susan.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, today we are talking about families, and our topic is partners with possibilities. And so much interesting messages and stuff came up during the channeling. So we're just going to let Susan take it away.
You know, it's funny. It always kind of cracks me up because I think to myself when I read something, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what we're doing this week about, okay. So in my mind, I think we're going to go one way. And then when you start to talk, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, didn't even think about, oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. So, and this was one of those times where when you were talking about so many different things, I was like, wow, that's brilliant. Or I say Metatron was talking about so many things. The one thing that he was started off with talking about pretty soon is oftentimes giving our power away. And I think in relationships, so often we do this. And I especially, when he was talking about if you are living in the right vibration, it will make your decision ability, like how to make the proper decisions, easier for you. And I think when we're giving our power away and with this new earth energy, and I love the way that he said that, you know, when you live in this new earth energy, and I think I posted that quote online, when you're living in this new earth energy, it'll make it that much easier for these decisions to come to you naturally, so you stop giving your power away. And I thought to myself, I thought it was just kind of age. You know what I mean? Because there is this certain, the beautiful part of being middle-aged is you do kind of wrap your head more around not giving your power away to other people. And Julie, I don't know if this is something that you've noticed as you've gotten older too, because we're the same age. So maybe it also has a lot to do with the frequency that we now resonate at.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it really is, you know, about staying in your power and when we're in alignment. You know, when we're in alignment, we're not in that place of indecision. And that word should, I mean, should be completely eliminated from your vocabulary as I repeat it. Oh my gosh, yeah, so funny, so funny. But yeah, interesting stuff.
And I love also how he talked about, you know, take a moment to stand in your power, see yourself as we see you. And to me, I think this is always like one of those aha moments, because we're so critical and we so see with our egos, and we're like, oh, I shouldn't be this and I shouldn't be that. And then Metatron went on to say, as a glorious being with endless possibilities. And I think so often when we find ourselves in relationships, we lose sight of all the possibilities. It's like we put ourselves in these little boxes, and this is like, okay, this is where I am. This is my lot in life. I mean, I cannot tell you, Julie, how many friends I have who are our age, who I hear them talk, and they're just settling. It's like I'm pretty much in a relationship where we live in the same house, but I don't really do it for them. They don't really do it for me. Some of them have major issues with infidelity, and it's like you have to ask yourself, okay, well, why are you still there? And most of them are like, well, I'm comfortable, I just don't want to really rock the boat. And there's so many other possibilities. And I mean, you've been married for 30 some years. I mean, I'm not saying jump ship, but I am saying is if you're missing all the other things that could be, because you're just kind of stuck and sitting tight. And it's like the whole spiritual council that we come in, they see what we have as our possibilities, and we just don't.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting when you say the settling, and I don't know if it's so much settling as they've reached comfort, the comfort zone. And I mean, we all know that the price of mortgages, the price of rent, and a lot of people can't afford to manage all of that on their own. So, they get in a place with another person, and it's not horrible, but, certainly it's not rainbows and unicorns anymore. But yeah, I completely agree with you, and certainly there's no judgment here for people who decide to stay in relationships that they're more roommates than they are partners in a marriage. And certainly, if that's the choice that you make in your life, that's what fits for you. But I mean, it's important to remember, you don't want to outstay your welcome. And so if a relationship isn't working for you and you're miserable in that relationship, I always tell people, get right with yourself first. Find your own happy. And a lot of times that will take care of, because when you change, the other person will change and the relationship changes. A lot of times that will take care of your issues, or that will move you on a different path, and it resolves a lot of issues within the marriage. But if you get to that place where you've done your work and you're happy, you're having a great life, but that other person is continuing to stay stuck, or that, not rising up and having that grand shift, then yeah, it might be time to move on. There might be another person out there at your speed, at your vibration, at your frequency, that could take you to a whole nother level, and here you are hiding out in the corner because you don't want to rock the boat.
Right. And I mean, if you think about it, it is all fear-based. I mean, how many times have you done readings for people that are sitting in front of you and they're like, I'm really unhappy in my marriage, but I don't want to be alone. Do you see anybody else in my future? And it's like, oh my gosh, okay, so putting the cart before the horse here. And it's and it just doesn't work like that. It's like right now you're not letting go of anything, so you're not inviting anything new in your life, and you've been sleeping on the couch for a year now.
Yes.
And it's just always painful for me when I see those kind of, and they're good people, like what you're saying. There's no judgment, no judgment at all. But it's just like we don't see ourselves as our spiritual council sees us.
Most definitely. And I think too that it's difficult to have that conversation with the other person, that communication. It's the easy path is to bury your head in the sand and just continue on acting like everything is great. Because when you do some deep sea diving, I like to call it, it brings up lots of memories, lots of triggers, lots of pain. and you don't want to deal with all of that crap. You want to just create this bubble and live within the bubble. But that's not what we came here to experience. And I think that, Metatron invited us to take a closer look at some of the choices that we're making, and to really open your heart, because there's so much love and so much joy that is available to us here on this planet. And a lot of times we just kind of put ourselves in a box, and we get stuck in that belief system that we're not worthy, or that this is all we deserve. We don't deserve more than this.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting, too, because when I think, because I'm divorced, I'm remarried, but I'm divorced. And on a personal level, I left a perfectly good marriage. My husband adored me. So it's like there's different reasons, but if you feel in your heart, in your gut, in your higher self that you're not supposed to be where you are. And I know for me on a personal level, it was really hard because nobody, and I mean nobody in my family supported my decision. Wow. So it was hard to stand there alone and say, something's not right. And now I fully understand why the something wasn't right. But at the time I didn't know it. It was like totally shooting from the hip. And it was terrifying. So like when I say there's no judgment I have for people in relationships, you never know what's going on with other people. It's like, how many times have you known some of your friends who they seem like everything's like what you say, unicorns and rainbows, and all of a sudden they tell you they're getting divorced, and you're like, huh? You guys are the happiest couple we know. Right. So there are things that are going down in relationships that people just don't really realize. And now it's like, I know just from my own spiritual development, had I stayed with my first husband, there's no way I'd be doing this work. I would be a country club wife. Wow. So that's, now in retrospect, I get it. At the time, I didn't know.
Yeah. And, sometimes we're in relationships to clear out ancestral garbage. And sometimes we're in relationships, when I took a look, I worked with a spiritual mentor for a little while, and he actually told me that the reason I incarnated in this lifetime, I didn't have to come back here, but I chose to help my husband and my mother. Wow. And he had actually shared with me that my contract with my husband was completed, and that now it was free will. I could choose to continue in the marriage, or I could choose to leave. And that really changed everything. Actually, it changed my whole life, because I just had a completely different perspective of my marriage and why I stay, why I choose to be here. And so, there's lots of different reasons, lots of different things going on in other dimensions, in other universes, contracts we've made that we aren't aware of. And when we get right with our soul, when we get right with ourself, things become very clear. And then old stories that we had, or things that are keeping us stuck, or perceptions that aren't serving us, begin to dissolve and begin to fade away. So it really is a beautiful time right now here on this planet, and I'm so excited to be here today with you, Susan.
Right. And it is a choice. That's the thing. I did a reading recently for a woman of a certain religious belief, and she was having an affair, and she said, if I'm caught, I can die. I will be killed. And so, there comes to certain choices that we make, and for something like that, that's dire. But even just, and that's why I thought it was funny when you said, should I stay or should I go? Because that was immediately what I heard when I thought we were talking about today.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, well, this is Julie Geigel and Susan Schuler with Angel Talk Tuesday here. And coming back in our next segment, Susan will be channeling Jacob, a master teacher of the Akasha. Stay tuned, everyone.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would you like to speak to an Archangel? Hi, I'm Julie Geigel, Trance Channel for Archangel Metatron. Book your session now and get the clarity and insight you need to make this your best year yet.
Past life readings promote understanding about current life situations. This is psychic medium Susan Schuler. Let me help you gain insight. Book an appointment today at mediumsusan.com.
And we are the Psychic Angel Channelers from Angel Talk Tuesday, hosted every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern on OMTimesRadio.com.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
The rocket launched into the air.
And then crashed into the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Angel Talk Tuesday. This is Susan Schuler. We hope you enjoyed the beautiful channel from Metatron and Julie today, as well as our previous discussion. As a channeler, I work with a team of guides from the Akashic Records, of whom Jacob is the master teacher and leader of this group. The Akashic Records are where I gain much information during my past life and psychic readings. As a professional psychic medium based in the Los Angeles area, I do readings for clients in person and on the phone and with Skype all over the world. I do frequent mediumship and psychic demonstrations around Los Angeles and other parts of the country as well. I am currently working back in Western New York and Ontario, Canada until August 21st. Aside from private readings and small group readings, due to popular demand, I will be doing 2 demonstrations at the Eagle House in Williamsville. One is today, and that is unfortunately sold out, but the other one is tomorrow on August 2nd, and tickets are still available for that event. Everything usually books up quickly, so if you would like more information about getting a reading while I am in this area, please email me at mediumsusan@icloud.com. Aside from private readings and demonstrations, I also teach classes. Coming up, Julie Geigel and I are very excited to be teaching a mentorship program for lightworkers. The current one has started, but we are beginning another 4-month training in November where we will be teaching about psychic development, mediumship, and connecting to spirit guides and angels. All the details for any of this information may be found at my website at mediumsusan.com or on my Facebook page at Susan Schuler Psychic Medium. And as Julie mentioned earlier, don't forget, we are accepting calls at 202-570-7057 for mini readings during the show. So let me switch gears right now and take a nice deep breath and ask Jacob to step forward. Welcome, beautiful souls of the new earth. We thank you for joining us today. We see all the many activities taking place in your life and know this is not always an easy thing. You, beautiful souls, however, are the hope for the future and therefore an integral part of the planet's development. So we acknowledge and thank you for putting aside a piece of your day to sit and listen. Today, we wish to speak of relationships, for these relationships can be one of the biggest learning tools during your incarnations. Therefore, these are not to be avoided,
for much knowledge will stem from these interactions. No two people are ever the same, so dealing with another person on an intimate level will teach you not only about how to deal with someone different from yourself, but will also cause many opportunities to look within and learn more about yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and of course, emotional trigger points. For no other place will you feel as emotionally charged as you will while in the midst of your romantic relationships. So yes, these are amazing learning opportunities and should be viewed as such. This can also include those relationships that you stay in due to fear, because of all they will teach you about yourself, if you allow yourself the opportunity. We see how many people stay in abusive relationships simply because of fear. Remember, abuse can surface in many ways: physical, mental, emotional, and manipulative, to name a few. But regardless, fear should not be the glue that binds a relationship together. We see your fear of change, regardless how much that change may be needed. Staying in a dead relationship where two people are simply residing together is no relationship at all. But realize, even in these types of situations, much learning and evolving is taking place. So nothing like this is ever a waste. However, to continue to allow abusive behaviors in a relationship will only chip pieces away from your own emotions and self-esteem, helping no one in the long run. Therefore, when contemplating whether to remain in a relationship, we ask you to consider, is the relationship abusive in some way and negatively affecting you and your development? This is the time your proverbial line in the sand must be drawn. Yes, we understand that this fear will keep you making excuses, but we ask you to consider the truth from love of self rather than fear of change. We also remind you that you are far stronger than you know. The abusive relationship can be subtle at times because both parties have become accustomed to things like negatively speaking to one another, perhaps in mean or condescending ways. But it still constitutes negative emotions that daily rule the relationship. Realize, of course, though, your human condition will permit moments like this to transpire. But you need to ask yourself if this is a period of instances or does it define the relationship. Meaningful relationships based from love will evolve over time. Expect it. The passion that ignites in the early days of your meeting is what was meant to bring you together, serving as a glue of sorts. But it is the love, common goals, and respect for the other individual that will hold you together. These are the things that need to be embraced and nurtured. No two relationships will ever be the same, so allowing yours to be compared to another can be relationship poison. As long as there is not abuse and you share the love, respect, and mutual goals, the relationship is worth working on. We see how the glow of contentment shines from those committed partners who have stayed together when they have allowed themselves to move forward in love. We also see how the negative things like lack of trust, hate, envy, possessiveness, and other things can pull two people apart. Remember, though, no one is meant to complete another. A person added into your life is an addition, not a piece to the puzzle. This is part of the problem. With all the expectations so many of you put on another to make you happy, it is no surprise you want out of the relationship when things get challenging. You are too busy looking outside yourself for true joy. And as we have said in the past, the true treasure that you seek lies within, not out. So should you go into your relationships with the belief that this other person will make you happy as their life goal, expect disappointment, discontent, frustration, anger, and all the other negative emotions. There is a focus on the negatives, those have-nots. Avoid expectations. It is when you focus on the gratefuls that your relationship will move toward love and mutual respect. And if you find no gratefuls, you have then answered your question about whether you should stay or go. This also brings us to the point of not simply being with the right person, but that there is even a bigger need to be the right person. Considering this, of course, brings us directly back to the major need to spend time learning about yourself, connecting to your soul, being able to differentiate your human ego from your spiritual soul, focusing on learning about your higher self and spending time learning about self and loving self. If you fail to do this, you will continue to fail in relationships because you will constantly crave the love of another that you refuse to give yourself. As you have heard said, if you don't think you are worth loving, why would someone else? We also tell you that if you choose to stay or leave in a relationship, we remind you that you will learn valuable lessons regardless. So not everything is black or white. Lessons are why you have come to earth. So you can win either way. We see the people who want out of relationships but stay for years and years, no longer keeping the promises to love, honor, and respect that they once committed themselves to. This is when the ego is allowed to rule, rather than the soul. So if you find yourself in this type of predicament, you must try to reconnect to your higher self, so you get the answers you most seek. For connecting to the ego will only bring heartache and hard lessons. Focus always on love, love of your higher self and the higher self of the other person. When you choose to live with ongoing behaviors do not represent this, you are harming another. So you can either choose to stop or to continue. But if you choose to continue in your negative behaviors, you become the abuser. And that is also a sign you need to walk away. This is Susan Schuler, channeling Jacob from the Akashic Records. Please stay tuned for the last segment of the show when we will be discussing today's channel. And don't forget to call in if you have any questions at 202-570-7057. Thank you.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Are you a light worker? Would you like to become a light worker? Hi, I'm Julie Geigel, and I've
partnered with my co-host from Angel Talk Tuesday, the gifted and talented Susan Schuler, to bring you an exciting new online event.
As former public school educators, Julie and I are now spiritual teachers. We've teamed up together to offer an exciting new mentorship program to help spiritual seekers align with their gifts to serve humanity.
This is an ongoing program that runs in 4-month segments. Go to juliegeigel.com to watch a sneak preview and learn more.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience in all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, and this is Julie Geigel with Susan Schuler, and you are listening to Angel Talk Tuesday. And we are taking callers during our last segment here. If you have any questions or need some help with your relationships and would like a psychic perspective, be sure to dial in at 1-202-570-7057. All righty, Susan. Wow, Jacob had some awesome points today, so we will just jump right in. Okay. Amazing learning opportunities. He talked about certainly being in a relationship, having a partner is all about some beautiful learning opportunities for our soul's growth. And again, I believe Metatron spoke of this, but also Jacob talked about fear. And one of the quotes that I really liked was, "Fear should not be the glue that binds a relationship together." So he talked about, staying in abusive relationships and all the different kinds of abuse. It's not always physical abuse, which I think is what our mind naturally thinks of when we hear of, he's abusing me. There's all kinds of different forms of abuse. And I really thought it was interesting how Jacob kind of brought that into, taking responsibility for that abuse, because staying in the relationship and denying your power, you become part of the problem instead of part of the solution. Any thoughts on that, Susan?
Yeah, part of the problem instead of part of the solution. Boy, that's true. And it's funny because to me, I immediately hear the word apathy when you say that. To me, it just seems like there are so many people that you just kind of get apathetic. And that doesn't help your learning, by any stretch. And then you do become part of the problem, Yeah, so that's... I'm going to have to think about that one later. Yeah, because... Yeah, sorry, okay. Sometimes you say something, I'm like, processing this.
Yeah. So I think Jacob was just kind of inviting us to own, be responsible, be 100% responsible in that relationship. And if there is some abuse, if there's banter going on, I loved when he said, abuse can be subtle, the negative speaking or condescending remarks toward each other, and the energy behind your words. Is there resentment? Is there anger? Is there frustration? And then he invites us to ask ourselves, is this a period of instances? Because honestly, no relationship is free from that.
Oh, yeah. We've all done it.
And, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship because, we have those instances everywhere with all of our relationships. But what I really loved is kind of a checking in with yourself. Are these periods defining the relationship, or are they instances? Are they moments that are here and there? Or is it who you've become as a unit together, that you've begun this dance of negativity, and you can't, you're participating, you're contributing as much as you are receiving. So that's where that responsibility comes into play.
Absolutely. It's funny. It's like my mother, she cracks me up sometimes. She's been single for 45 years. And she never really, interested in getting married again. And she'll just be like, I'm so happy. I just don't have any problems. It's like, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't have that significant other standing in front of you holding up a mirror to you. And when they hold that mirror up to you, you see all of your flaws. And there is a certain development that you really can't get unless you're in that romantic relationship where you can annoy the heck out of each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, Mom, of course everything feels like it's easy peasy because you don't, it's not constantly like, and you do this wrong and you do this wrong. So you actually have to think about it. You're like, okay, maybe I am really neurotic and a control freak.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, really deep sea diving, taking a deeper look at what are you contributing. Are you creating a space, an environment where this is okay? And not only okay, but you've actually begun contributing and participating in the negativity. But yeah, I know my husband's really good at shining the light on me. Because he's like, you think you're so perfect all the time with all your spiritual crap.
Oh yeah, my husband throws that at me too.
Right? See, and now I can't talk. Here we go. But yeah. And so when I do take a breath and I go inside and I'm like, okay, is what he's saying, is there any truth to what he's saying? And sometimes it's like this, portal opens up and all of a sudden I can see through his eyes. And I'm like, oh, crap, he's right. Or I'll also, there are times where it will be like, no, he's maybe manipulating you, or there's a hidden agenda there. No, that's not your truth. But yeah, the other
isn't it that much easier to differentiate the two as you've gotten deeper into your soul and you realize who you are and that you're not just this human person anymore?
Most definitely, and that's, I know both of the messages today talked about getting right with your soul, taking the time to figure out who you are and what you stand for, and really coming from a place of power instead of powerlessness, power from the soul's perspective. So it's really important to clarify that, not power from your ego's perspective. Because I know Jacob talked about that at the end. The ego is really what's dominating stagnant relationships or abusive relationships. Even if you're being submissive in abusive relationship, the ego is still dominating you because it is the ego that's holding you stuck in that energy and unable to make changes because of fear. It is not your soul, because your soul is always liberating. Your soul is always in an energy of freedom and expansion. Any thoughts on that?
It's interesting. That reminds me of the Ike and Tina Turner story. I don't know if you know anything about the two of them. She got heavily in, and he was very abusive. I mean, there's like quotes. It's like, yeah, I only hit my woman when she needs it. That's things he said. Yeah, exactly. So they were he was so manipulative and abusive to her. I don't know how she lived. But she came to a point where she got into Buddhism, and she was heavily meditating. And so she was able to kind of close down the abusive side by getting into this space, to the point where he wasn't able to manipulate her anymore, and it really kind of freaked him out because he lost his power. And I mean, it was a very scary situation for her to have to get away, and it took her many, many different tries and different things. But you do realize that when you do escape into meditation, into soul, into self, you have a world all your own.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is so beautiful. Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's why whenever I counsel people, I always tell them, make sure that you are right with yourself before you leave the relationship. Because a lot of times it's very easy to say, oh, I'm not happy because of him. It's, his fault. He does blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I've just seen too many people leave relationships and they're still incredibly miserable. So
yeah, well, it's the same patterns, because you don't really change your patterns. I think I told you once, and my dad said when I divorced your mother, it was just a different face. I'm like, oh, God.
I love that. And I use that now with my children. I'm like, yeah, you don't, that's wisdom. Wow. Beautiful wisdom in that sentence, most definitely. Thank you for sharing that with us again, Susan. It really, it's in my mantras now. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your day to join us here on Angel Talk Tuesday. Archives are posted 24 hours after the live show airs on OMTimesRadio.com. And don't forget to join us on Facebook in the Angel Talk Tuesday Breakroom, where we post our favorite quotes. Remember, you have a plethora of angels uplifting, inspiring, and enfolding you in God's love every day. Until next time, this is the Psychic Angel Channelers, Julie Geigel and Susan Schuler, helping you connect with your own angelic team.